On this week's episode, I'm joined by Tim Vieira. Tim is originally from South Africa. He's a business owner, an entrepreneur, an educator, and his home is right here in Portugal. And we discuss, amongst other things, the bright future of business in Portugal, why Tim has made his home right here in Portugal, and why, on so many levels, we should all choose Portugal. Welcome back, or welcome to another episode of Portugal, The Simple Life. I'm really excited to be joined by Tim Vieira. Tim, how's it, as we say in South Africa? And thanks for joining us.
How's it going, Dylan? I'm really impressed when I got this South African accent, I was like, oh, I'll do this. I want to do this. It's very, very good. And then I found out he's a Bull supporter, and I thought, why am I doing this? But anyway, that's
too late to turn back now. You're stuck with me for the next 40 minutes. So for anybody who doesn't like a South African accent, stop listening right now, because you're going to get two of them. Two South African boys who found a home in Portugal. Tim, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, myself, like you said, I was bred in South Africa. I left in 2000. I was from the East Rand out there, so, tough area. Not all of us come from the north there, like yourself. But, I had immigrant parents. They came from Mozambique. So I was lucky I learned the Portuguese language. My dad put me into Portuguese school to do my, let's call it standard 5, I don't know, until you...
Grade 7?
Grade 7. And then I wouldn't go because I got into sport. So I was really into sport. I didn't want to do the Portuguese school. But I was lucky because I had the best Portuguese and life teacher, which was my grandmother and my granddad. So that was fine, So that helped out. And then from there, from South Africa, after ups and downs and everything that goes with it, I went to Angola, where we set up a really big business. It's still going. It's one of the biggest media businesses in Angola. And then in around 2010, there was a decision. I'd had my two boys were born there, and we had our girl on the way, and she was a little bit more complicated. So we needed to go somewhere where she could be born and be looked after immediately, in case there was any issues. And it was between South Africa and Portugal at that time, and then we went for Portugal. And although our heart is big enough to have South Africa, Angola, Mozambique and Portugal in it, Portugal is what we call home at the moment, and we're super, super blessed to be out here. Yeah, so out here for the last 11 years.
Amazing. Which would you consider to be your terra in Portugal? Everybody's got their terra, their village. Mine's Abidos. What would yours be?
Yeah, I would say, obviously I live in Cascais, so everything happens around Cascais, but I spend a lot of time, and last year I spent 6 months in the Alentejo, in Zambujeira do Mar. So anyone who doesn't know what Zambujeira do Mar is, it's an amazing place. My wife actually tells me to stop saying that because she doesn't want more people to come out here, because really it's an incredible little space. But Portugal is such an incredible country that it's difficult for me to actually just say, I'm going to be in Cascais forever. I really don't believe it, because I actually just enjoy all the different areas. I go a lot out to Ericeira. I go a lot to the Azores. I love going to Madeira. I've got my friends there, and it's drink and eat. You know what I'm saying? So I know what I'm going there for. Across the river in Azeitão, I've got my friends on that side, which is again, seems like always drink and eat, but it is. So it's just the way it is. And then you've got the north, which is also, but I believe that I'll probably end up between Ericeira, Cascais, and the Alentejo, like my old age, doing those kind of visits, because that's where I've got properties. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, drinking and eating. When my clients say to me, what are we going to do with our days when we move into Portugal? I said, look, everything's going to be revolved around where you eat. So, that's what my wife and I do. What are we doing this weekend? Well, where are we having lunch? Okay, so wherever we decide we're going to have lunch, that's what we build our day around. And it's good times. Good times.
It really is. It's a place that you're having lunch and you're discussing about lunch tomorrow, or you're discussing dinner later. You having something incredible to eat, and you're there comparing it to something else you had a week before. I hate taking my father-in-law for lunch because of that. Every time I take him and I'm impressing him, I think I'm, like showing him the best thing in the world. He's telling me, yeah, but you now need to go do shoves up north and I'll show you what's there. And, so it never ends. No, food it's a big thing, and it's a good problem to have. That's one of the main problems in Portugal. Is where do you eat?
Yeah, it's one of the things that I've learned, that it's the only thing that people really argue about, heatedly, one of the only things, and it's food. It's okay, no, the best place to eat this is there. No, it's not. It's there, or whatever the case is. So for you, that move, you moved. You did two big moves. What were some of the things that came into play, and some of the factors? I know you mentioned your daughter and her health, but what were some of the other things that you looked at and considered when comparing whether to go back to South Africa or moving to Portugal? What were the things that tipped it in this favor of moving here?
Yeah, look, with my daughter, it was just a complicated pregnancy, but she's good, so no, we're super happy with that. But I think what happened with us, it was we were thinking of, do we do this Cape Town thing and go to Cape Town, or do we go to Europe, and where do we go in Europe? And obviously, I had a link to Portugal, and then after being to Cascais a few times, I actually thought of, Cascais is very similar to Cape Town, and the biggest difference is that you're right in the center of the world. We're 2 hours from London, we're 2 hours from Paris, we're 6 from New York. We've got flights directly down to most of Africa that we visit. It's just in the center of the world. I think that was a big thing. And then obviously, you've got this safety thing. I'd been in some violent crime in South Africa, so obviously it's always in the back of your mind, and then thinking about one day my kids, they're going to get older and they're going to leave if they have to go study somewhere or go find opportunities somewhere. And at least out here, we're sort of like in the middle, and we'll see how it goes. And even if they go back to South Africa to do whatever it may be, we're sort of still connected. You don't feel so far away from the rest of the world. Australia just felt like it's so far away. We spent some time there. New Zealand, I can understand why it's not on the map sometimes. It's like in Portugal, we're just in the middle. Great time zone, great weather. Yeah, so it made it quite easy.
Yeah, nice. When did you? Had you visited Portugal before coming to? I know you have that Portuguese connection, but had you visited Portugal before moving?
Lots of times. So we used to come, basically spend a month every July out in Portugal.
Okay.
Because of the family and all that. And I must admit, when I was young, I didn't like it. It was like, I'd have to leave my friends behind, and I'd miss the holidays there. And then I'd come out here, and then normally after 2-3 days, the beach, sun, okay, all great, so that was fine. But it was a different Portugal back then. Portugal sort of gave this leap forward, but it used to be, I remember we used to come here and you used to boil water or boil the milk, and it was like, stuff like that. And it used to take us forever to get to the Algarve, like these little roads, and everything was difficult, and now, you look at this country and it's highways and service everywhere, and in many ways it's ahead of a lot of the world in many things, so if it is just a place to live, it is an incredible place to live, so for sure. But I always had links here, I always had links here, but I didn't know if I would actually like to live here. But as you grow older and you start valuing the simple life, you start valuing, the stuff that really means something in life, this is a place where you find it, And then the Portuguese are very welcoming people, we don't have much. There isn't a huge, let's say, an extreme right or extreme left, or everyone's more or less in the middle of the extreme red or extreme blue or extreme green in football. But other than that, they don't really argue much on other things. So it's very, very welcoming. Foreigners are, it's not nicer, but in many ways even treated nicer. So Lydia, my wife, used to sometimes say, Tim, why do you actually speak Portuguese? Why don't you fix your Portuguese? And I said, because I don't want to. I get treated so much better when I speak badly. And it really was. So, not being, having that accent and just being a little bit sometimes, what's a word? And they help you and they get in there and they really do enjoy that. So, it's a great place to be.
At least you kind of look Portuguese. I walk into a place and they know straight away, hold on, blonde hair, blue eyes. This guy's not Portuguese. And then they're always surprised when I start speaking in Portuguese. But apparently, I sound like a Ukrainian guy when I speak Portuguese. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to change that. But
But we don't all get to be good-looking Portuguese.
It's a burden. Someone has to carry it. That's your burden. That's your burden, Tim. I mean, important thing. Are you? Which color are you? Are you red, green, blue?
I support every team they play against in Portugal. So any of those top three, if they play any of the other teams, I'm supporting the other teams. So I support all the underdogs. Okay. Only when they go out of Portugal do I support whoever they are. And there again, I don't care if it's the blue, the green, or the red. But when they play here in Portugal, I want them to lose. I really want them to lose. I'll actually, if I see they're losing, I'll keep watching. As soon as they're up ahead, and they always get funny goals at the end. They always get these funny penalties and stuff. So it even pisses me off more. But yeah, but I'm a big fan of the rugby here in Portugal, and it's growing. And we just beat Spain 2 weekends ago. So it's getting better and better, and I think we're on a good track to.
We had Vasco Uva on the podcast not long ago, and that was such a cool conversation. One of my favorites, biasly because of rugby. So yeah. Good man.
Over 100 tests. I was with him in London at the Centurions dinner. Very good guy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I texted with him the other day, and he said, he'll let me know because there's a Centurions event happening soon, and I must come through when it happens. So that'll be amazing. So yeah, looking forward to that. He's a good guy. I like him a lot. And what about for your kids, Tim? I mean, how old were they when you came across, and how is that? How do you feel about Portugal for your kids?
Yeah, look, it's an easy place for kids. Like I said, once safety is out the way, you sort of kids can still be kids out here. So my kids now they're a bit older, but even a few years back now, they're 16, 14, and 11. But even a few years back, they would go to the park across the road. There's no issues. They would go get ice cream, little things that mean so much to them. You understand? I remember that the one time my two boys were arguing, and they were like 10 and 8, and they were busy arguing one with the other in the car. And I stopped the car like in Estoril, and I told the oldest one, look, you know what, get out and walk home. And then it's about a 3K walk. Okay, 10-year-old, and we got home and we were like a bit worried. I must admit, I was like looking and seeing is he coming through and all that. And then there he came down the road, my wife and we were looking, and but we would never have done that anywhere else. But over here, look, it was worth the lesson. I might get into trouble by saying this, but it was worth the lesson, and they don't argue in the car anymore, so I guess it works. But it's really still like a old school place, and even these little towns, because unless you're really living in Lisbon or Porto, but even Porto and Lisbon, it's like bairros. They've got their little areas, so it doesn't really matter.
Little neighborhoods.
Still play in the road. They play football. They go get the. My kids will go to the local supermarket to go get the milk, whatever we need. And it's so great, it's a privilege. It's really, really an incredible way of living. So I think for them it's good. I think they've also got good friends because it's a bit of a melting pot. So they've got friends that are from Malta, from Russia, from obviously British, etc. Friends from all over, South Africans, lots of South Africans. and that's also great, you know. So they like being brought up in this melting pot. You know, I think the Portuguese have always been a little bit involved in this melting pot, going out into the rest of the world, and the rest of the world coming into Portugal. But we seem to do that well. It's not like there's no hard feelings. It's not, you know, there's no animosity.
Animosity.
And I think that's a great way, you know. And I think if I had to say, that's probably one of the most attractive things of this country is that, you know, you feel at home, you know, so easily. Even you, an Ukrainian, you feel totally at home. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? And people are good to you, and etc. And even colors. It doesn't matter colors. You know, I think you've got in Lisbon. You've got the mosque. You've got the Jewish right there as well. You've got, you know, Catholics. You've got everything. It doesn't really. We don't see that kind of problems at the moment, and that's a big advantage. I think it's huge. You know.
Yeah, we don't have this extremism with everything. You have people, you know, I think one of the things that I love about the Portuguese culture is religion is something treated as a private thing. It's a whatever you believe, that's your business. And there is that discretion and that respect for your own personal choices, which I think is lovely. But yeah, we don't have that extremism. We don't have massive disagreements politically and things like that, which just makes it such a peaceful place.
No, there's a lot of respect, and also the Portuguese, there's quite a bit of common sense, and it's something lacking in this world. You know, they're quite pragmatic. When they're suffering, they're suffering. When things are going well, they're going well. But you know, it's quite like common sense. You know, which is great. Yeah.
You mentioned something about when you first came across when those visits, those formative years when you were visiting as a kid, and things were a little bit backward. A lot of people still think Portugal is like that. You'll see some Americans asking if they can buy used cars in Portugal or not. And, you know, there's this that we still ride around on donkeys maybe, or we don't have roads. And you've sort of seen the transformation from no motorways to motorways, good internet, technology, and all of these kind of things. How have you seen those changes for the country?
No, look, it's day and night. You know, it really is. I think that we've got an incredible infrastructure in this country. That's, you know, we probably got more infrastructure than we need. Where 90% of the world's got less infrastructure than they need. You know, we've got more. We've got with regards to internet and to all those kind of things, you know, it's always one of the places where things are tested and etc. because of what we've got, you know. So I think we've got a lot of those benefits. We've also obviously got a lot of issues, and things could even be better, but so could they.
Always.
99% of the world, you know, and who are us now to say that we've got problems when, you know, you just switch on CNN and you see the whole world's got problems. So I think there is things that, you know, could be better. I think what we do have now is we've got a country that if you do come here to live, it's incredible. It really, you know, you've got a small country that is so big on different experiences and different regions that, you know, just 40 minutes away from you, there's a different dessert, there's a different wine, there's a different way of speaking. It's unbelievable. You know, you've got this little place that's just so big. And then I think you've got this mindset that from the youngsters, which is great. You know, they believe Portugal is really special. They believe that they want to become more entrepreneurial. They believe they want to have less bureaucracy. They believe a lot of these problems can be sorted. You know, and I think that's what gives me even more hope for the future. You understand? Where sometimes you know, I traveled the world quite a bit, and I get to countries that are first world, but almost people are becoming more, and there's more anxiety, they're more stressed, they're getting sadder, there's less hope that things will get better. We are not, you know, the third world, when I go to the third world, people are super happy because they believe things can't get worse, they can only get better. And in the first world, they think things can only get worse; they can't get better. So Portugal's in that like world where we believe things can get better still, and that's a good way to live, because you still have hope and faith. When you're on the other spectrum, you start losing hope and faith, and it becomes a really sad place to be. Okay, so that's what really makes, for me, Portugal so attractive as well. Is that the youngsters still believe they will sort of have maybe a better life coming into the future, where a lot of people don't believe that around the world. So
Yeah.
it is very good.
Yeah, I'm going to ask a question, and it's going to be sort of a long question, but with tied to what you're talking about. One of the things that I've noticed with this younger generation is they seem to have a deep pride in Portugal. I found when I first came across 12 years ago that people didn't realize how good they had it here, how good their lives were, how good Portugal was to live and to just be, and in terms of so many things, food, safety, cost of living, all of these things. And what I've seen with so much more of a global influence that's happening in Portugal, and we speak about internet and tech and road systems and flights coming in and out of Portugal, more people getting exposed to Portugal, but also reversely, more Portuguese people getting exposed to the world. They're starting to realize, hold on, we've got something really special here. And this pride about Portugal has sort of started to emerge, even with the older generation. They're going, wait a minute, I'm seeing actually what we've had for so long is really special. Have you seen that? Have you seen this sort of pride in the country being birthed because of exposure to other things?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the youngsters with all these startups, more let's say innovation, with different companies and startups coming out from Berlin, from Stockholm, being based here, all that kind of stuff. It really is attractive, and they start thinking, what, if all these people are coming here because we've got the biggest wave in the world, we've got some of the best surfing in the world, we've got a surf reserve, we've got then we've got all these golf courses, we've got all these amazing things that I don't know which government built it, but amazing, all these oceans and things around us. But I think that's really incredible. And then when I've sort of understood they've got a word in Portuguese called saudade. And it's a word that only exists in Portuguese, and it's missing a place. It's like when you really miss your homeland or miss your place. And I understand that. They were a nation of explorers. They left their country. They said that Magalhães, the guy who circumnavigated the world, etc., the first words he said when he was born is he told his mom, well, I'm going traveling, because that was the Portuguese way. They would leave, they would go, they would explore. And I think that word saudade came because they always got saudade of Portugal. They always sort of want to come back. And I see it even in let's call it immigrants that leave. They always still connected here. They still have their little place, their little hometown, etc., that they go and build their thing and still want to come back to, etc., etc. And now they're kids that for a long time Portugal wasn't sexy, or it wasn't, the place to say you wanted to go to. All of a sudden, Portugal, it's quite cool. You know what I'm saying? We got best football player in the world. Arguably the best football player in the world.
No, he is the best, hands down. Come on.
I love them both, but but it is great to be there. We've got European champions. We've got all these kind of things where we've got a unicorn that's just come out, and one more company. We've had 4, let's say, unicorns linked to Portugal, things like that. That's you're proud of those things. You understand what I'm saying? So those are good things, and obviously those families, even of those immigrants, now are looking back at Portugal and say, maybe it's maybe worth going back there, and especially now when all these old school values still exist in Portugal. Portugal still has the family. Portugal still has the taking it easier. Portugal still has this. It's like authenticity. It's a great word to describe Portugal. It's still very authentic. Even when you travel these little towns and all that, there's a photo that you'll take that will just blow you away. Like you'll go, geez, like that's like a postcard. So I think, it is a country that's maybe now in fashion, but it's, let's say all its faults of being very proactive or very quick at doing things has now made it attractive, because it just seems so much more laid back and so much more real and more authentic, etc., etc. And then the other thing is, most people only speak about 2-3 cities, but you could go down 20. You could have a list of 20 cities that would blow your mind, and you really. And sometimes I've taken people to a city and they go, Tim, do other people know about this place? Like, how come we don't know about it? You understand? And it's so amazing when you get that. That's really, really incredible. You've got great wines at below €5. Everything is, you only if you really want to show off do you need to get a bottle of €50. You understand? But at a restaurant, €25 is a great wine. A great
Wow. Amazing wine, yeah.
In a supermarket, you don't need to go over €5. It's amazing. You never get a bad bottle there. So, that's one of the secrets of life.
I did drink a bad bottle once, but it was French.
But now, even French, we've got so many French living out here now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now the strangest thing is when I'm with a French person, them speaking bad about why there's so many French here. They like saying, "Oh, there's too many French. There's too many French now. No. They're walking their dogs. No.
I'm worried that there's too many South Africans.
I think the thing with South Africans is the biggest problem I have with South Africans when they get to Portugal is they want to make everything as efficient as South Africa, but then they actually, if you deep down look at it, what efficiency was there?
No, there wasn't.
So I think sometimes they get you and they're super entrepreneurial, they're super proactive people, and you almost want everything to get done quick. But you get you and you need to take a chill pill. You really do. You need to just say, okay, you know what? I'm going to learn how to drink a coffee and enjoy it. I'm going to speak to people. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to do walks. I'm going to walk my dog, and I can wear my Rolex if I want. There's no one's going to rob it. All of a sudden, just relax. And if you start to do that, you actually start to understand the culture. Yes, if you've got building plans, sometimes yes, it's going to take longer than it should, etc., etc. But you know what? You've got power, you've got security, you've got great schooling if that's what you need. You've got a lot of stuff around there that's a benefit. You can do holidays with EasyJet to anywhere in Europe. You've got a lot of great things, So it is, you've got to chill. You've got to relax a bit. And I think South Africans, once they get into that mode, then they're good again, And also, it's I've got South Africans here. They're here most of the year. Then they pop back for Christmas. Now, obviously, we're going through COVID, but that's what they did, and they would get back there, enjoy it there for another 6 weeks, come through, etc. It is what it is. The world is becoming global.
How has Portugal changed you from the man you were when you first arrived to the man you are now?
Yeah, I think Portugal allows you to try and do good things in your community without feeling guilty. Like, in South Africa, it's almost like it's not because you want to show anyone you're a good person. You want to do good acts, but straight away, it's because of that. It's because of this. You sort of always, you've always got to look at the political side, or you've always got to. Here in Portugal, no, it's more just do it. It's like, it's a lot less, you don't think so much about doing stuff, So I think that's been a really good thing. I think this thing about family is really a big thing in Portugal, and I think 100% it's important. And when you see, kids spending time with their grandparents and all that, you get more values, more ethics, everything coming from there. So that's also super, super good. And then a big thing about Portugal is you almost feel like an expat, but you don't have to be on an expat salary, but you still get to do good things with fun people. There's always events going on, the huge music scene, etc., etc. So I think like for me, I know I'm blessed to be out here. There's no, for me, it's an amazing place, sometimes, chatting to my wife, I think, okay, maybe we'll do, a stint of a year somewhere else just to do an experience. But we know where home is at the moment. I can safely say this is home. So it's a little bit like that. But it's still very much for me. The Alentejo is like almost my Africa. You got space, you got a reserve, you got ocean, you got walks. I've got a rich back like South Africa. You know what I'm saying? I just don't have electric fencing or anything like that. But it is what it is. We got a farm out here doing raspberries and blueberries. So it is. It's like it's like a hybrid.
I mean, you've spoken a bit about the youngsters coming through and doing amazing things, and the Portuguese people. You had a stint on the Portuguese version of Shark Tank, or I suppose in the UK it's called the Dragon's Den. You were on the Portuguese one. What were some of those things that you noticed in the Portuguese people and in those entrepreneurs that you admired and thought were positive things?
No, I think a lot of them, it's their honesty of work. They really do want to work at it, to make it happen, etc. I think a negative was they still thought a lot smaller. Portugal didn't believe we could think big. And I think that's changing. I think it's starting to think big. I'm still very much involved in the entrepreneurial ecosystem and startups and all that. And I start now seeing Portuguese not thinking about can they go sell their products in Porto, but now they think, can we sell it in New York? Can we go bigger? So that's exciting. I think that's super exciting. But I think the Portuguese are super hard workers. I think Portuguese, wherever they go in the world, you never speak to someone and they go, I can't stand the Portuguese. They actually always go, no, they work hard. You must see, Manel over there, he's managed to do this and got his daughter into university, whatever. They're hard workers, And I think it's no different here. I think I think we now, it's getting exciting because we're thinking bigger, and also because we're on the map. I think even, let's say, salaries will start improving, because that's a big problem here. If you really look at it, you got an average salary here of 1,100 and odd euros. A minimum salary of 600 and odd. But
and that's improved. That's improved considerably in the last 5 years. It used to be really low.
It's improving, but we need, attract more investors. We need more people to come out here. We need to attract more international people to live here, because it's not just the money they bring, it's the know-how and then the network they bring, So obviously all that kind of stuff, I think, will get more attractive. I saw our compatriot Elon Musk now invested into a company, Starlink. They've got their first thing going, and Portugal now is going to be covered by their satellite offering internet, etc. So again, it's their first foot into Europe has been Portugal. So I think it is getting exciting. I think our university is opening up, and we've got Nova, Católica, Technic teaching in English. So they are exclusively in English now. So I look at Nova, where I'm on the advisory board, and the university is the most German students outside Germany in any university in the world. So
wow, I didn't know.
Wow, it really is good.
Impressive, yeah.
Yeah, very impressive. It provides employees to Google, to everywhere. It's a top 25 in Europe, a top 50 in the world. Stuff like that. That's really, really interesting. How it's just improved. So it really is
amazing. You mentioned, you said how you're involved in the entrepreneur ecosystem here and with businesses and all that kind of thing. Do you want to just talk to us briefly about some of the things you're up to with Brave Generation and Escolha Portugal and things like that? Please give us a bit of a snapshot there.
Yeah, BGA, Brave Generation Academies, we've understood that education is changing, and it's changing fast. So we've been setting up these little hubs. So through Porto, Braga, Santarém, Cascais, now in Lisbon, Lagos in the Algarve, and hopefully in Lolé soon. And they're hubs that we set up, and they take 20 to 25 kids with 2 learning coaches. And kids get to learn online, but they go to the hub, a physical place. They sit there. They go through 4 to 5 hours a day of schooling, doing their British curriculum, their IGCSEs and their A levels. And then their learning coaches are there helping them get through that. But then we sort of link to the community. You know, we do our tennis lessons with people in the community, our golf, our surf. We do what we call our bids. We do massive open, massive online open courses. So if kids are interested in programming, they start learning programming immediately. They start getting into that. And the kids are also between the age of 13 and 18 in the same hub. So there's a lot of empathy. Older kids helping younger kids. There's a lot of peer-to-peer. And then the hubs are interlinked. And we've also got the first ones going into South Africa. We've already got students there. We've got into Angola, Mozambique. We've got Ghana. We've got São Tomé, 29 girls. We're opening in Rotterdam in September, in Nevada. So, you know, and BJ is this network that you can actually even go from one hub to another. All right. And it's super easy because a lot more accessible, more flexible. The school doesn't close. So, you know, our hubs are open the whole year. So they don't actually close up. So they close up just 2 weeks in Christmas and 1 in Easter. But July and August, they open. And if you want to go to school in July and August, you're going. But then, you know, you can do a half day, you can do full day, you can do 2 hours, whatever you want. But then if you want to go on holiday in May, you're going in May. So, you know, we work on timelines. And it's super flexible. It really does work. So we're seeing our students flourishing. We're seeing our parents happy. You know, so I guess it's a win-win all round. And then for our community, it's really good because we go up to a golf coach and we tell him, listen, when can you give lessons? Oh, I'm so full, I can't do anything in the afternoon. I say, no, it doesn't have to be in the afternoon. It can be at 9 o'clock in the morning because our kids can come to golf first, then to school. You know, so this kind of stuff.
Amazing.
Our learning coaches get rated, just like an Uber driver. Every week they get rated, you know, so we know how they're doing. The kids do their little quizzes. We know how they're doing on their quizzes. So it's a little bit different. It's a mix of, let's say, it's a hybrid. It's got, you know, the online teaching that keeps the standard, and you've got the same standard that you've got in London, in Lisbon, and Lagos, you know. And I think that's what's interesting. And then it just opens up these opportunities to go further. Yeah. So that's what we're doing with Brave Generation Academy.
What ages? I mean, what ages is the kids? What ages do they teach?
13 to 17. So we take them pre-RGCSEs. So we do their pre-RGCSEs, their RGCSEs, and their A levels. So and like I said, you know, it's a mix in the class. It's a mix. Our learning coaches as well. Our learning coaches aren't teachers. They're people that have got a degree in whatever, engineering, architecture, a lawyer. But then they normally, you know, below 35 years old. So they become mentors to these kids. They understand the apps. They understand all these kind of things. You know, they're not they're not me. And then you know, the different coaches have different interests and different skills, and we sort of also interlink them. You know, so the kids get the best out of both worlds there. Yeah, so
sounds amazing.
Yeah, really, we're super excited. It's what takes up 80% of my day now, so it's really good. Yeah,
amazing. And are you going to expand more to other locations?
Yeah, we will. We basically, you know, once there's an interest in a place, we look at getting 6 kids. If we get 6 kids, we'll start the hub. You know, so we look at it like that. It's a profit for purpose. So we've got hubs, like I said, São Tomé, 29 kids. They don't pay, you know, but obviously, you know, the kids paying in Cascais, although it's a third of let's call it international tuition fee or international school. You know, we're still able to make money that sends money to places where they can't. We've got scholarships, etc. And what's really great about this, we look at opening up in Aveiro, we're looking at opening up in Coimbra. So because it's this hub and we can mix it, and I'll give you an example, in Braga, we've opened it in a Portuguese school that now has given us their library to do a BGA, which brings in the English students into a Portuguese library, and the kids have lunch together with the Portuguese kids and everything.
Incredible.
You know, it's the way it should be. We should be not closing ourselves up to communities. We should be opening ourselves.
Totally.
And also, it's also been quite amazing is that 50% of our students are Portuguese. So Portuguese, they get to the age of 12 and then they say, look, we'll now change to the English curriculum so that, you know, their opportunities as well of going and studying abroad they start preparing for that. So yeah, it's exciting. With regards to Squad Portugal, it's really a movement, that I started which translated to Portuguese English would be choose Portugal.
Choose
And it's
Portugal.
really choose Portugal to invest, choose Portugal to come live, choose Portugal when you buy a product, ask for a service. So it's really a little movement to get this going. We've got some exciting things coming up. We've got an app that we'll launch. It will be super interesting. We're launching it in Portugal, New York, and Paris at the same time. So those cities will have it, and so will Portugal. We've got, we're bringing 20 super nomads to spend 3 months in Portugal, living and working in Portugal, and staying at some of our top hotels. So, they will be looked after, and they will see, all these things we've been speaking that are wonderful about Portugal. They'll experience it. So, we're there to show off Portugal. At the same time, we also lobby. We lobby for businesses. We've got over 1,000 businesses that were straight away like founding members when we started Squad Portugal. And obviously, Portugal, I think it's at number 38 in the competition, starting businesses, etc. And we need to be a top 15, top 10, So we are top 10 in security. But we'd like to become top 10 in ease of doing business, so why not? So those are the things we're busy working on and trying to make change. And obviously there we're also working with a few other of these other projects that are also trying to do the same. So we're working on that. And I think, it's a give back, but it's so important because, although I almost feel like we're good, but we can be so much better. Like I always think that's like, we just need like a Rassie Erasmus, to come and coach us here, as a country, you understand? And if we get that, we're going to be super good, so I'm also hoping that, we start bringing out some great leaders. So Squad Portugal, we've got a project called Be Brave, where we mentor young companies, young startups, and we've got about 200 members of expats that become part of Be Brave, and they listen to chats, and then they try give, find off-takers for businesses that are Portuguese outside where they might have had experience. So we've understood, it's not money that you're investing, but it's all this know-how, all this network, and Be Brave has done an incredible job with a guy called Terry Hamill as well. That's my co-founder on that, and he's my president there. So he's done an incredible job, and we just look at it and we see how many companies we managed to get them to the next level. Sometimes not in investment, but in helping their sales, and they made their own money and they didn't even get rid of shares. So it's really nice to see. So yeah, I think we've still got a lot of work to do, but for me it's super important, and I really fight to bringing in more people into Portugal. I think we have to bring in more people that have got talents. We've got to bring in more people that have got this network, more people that will play golf, yes, 2-3 times a week, but then maybe take a day and give it out to a local community, do something, help businesses, look at what talent there is in Portugal and how they can, tell the rest of the world. Because the Portuguese aren't good at that. I think many times the Portuguese feel guilty even if they think they're good, and that's why even the Portuguese sometimes feel guilty about Ronaldo. When he says I'm the best, or he puts in a goal, and they almost feel like, oh, he shouldn't have done that, whatever. But it's the mentality that we need, a winning mentality. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's so much that we should be proud of. But yeah, we need to wrap this up because you've got to go soon. So how can people get in touch or follow you online and keep up to date with the things that you're up to at the moment?
Yeah, so I've got a LinkedIn, okay, so that's super easy there. I've also got an Instagram, but also, I'm super happy if you contact me through LinkedIn. My best way of communicating is WhatsApp, so I'll give you my number, and we stay in touch with WhatsApp, and I think that's the easiest way. But definitely anyone who's interested in contacting me and feels like they got value to to offer anything in the entrepreneurial area and whatever it may be. Super happy to assist. Okay.
Good stuff. We'll put some links in the show notes so people can get in touch if they need to and follow what you've been up to. Wonderful. Tim, a question that we ask all of our guests: Portugal, the simple life. Why?
I think authenticity. Yeah, it is what it is. It's like one of the only places in the world that I sometimes just feel content. I just feel happy. Like just taking a walk. I take a walk every morning. Like like winter at 7 in the morning. In summer it comes down to 6. Okay, and I promise you, it's like absolutely amazing. Portuguese wake up late, so it's just me and my dog. Do my walk. It's content. It's just authentic. It's like it is what it is. And then on the way back from my walk, I'm like thinking about the coffee I'm going to have, and I just, and I then enjoy that coffee. Like I never knew that was possible, but you get to enjoy the coffee. So I think those are the really, really good things about Portugal. Going through and spending 80 euros and staying at an incredible little hotel in the middle of nowhere, and then having some great food and meeting some really amazing people, Googling and finding out interesting facts about where you are. It's an old country, you understand, with lots that's gone on here. It's just so authentic. I think that's a really huge thing. I think that's the biggest thing I take from it. And really, like I said, I've traveled the world, and even when we're traveling the world, because of that saudade, that word, we would like look for a Portuguese restaurant. It was like sometimes we would be out there and after 3-4 weeks would go, geez, we just need like a Portuguese restaurant. How are we going to find it? And we'd go there and you sit down and they give you your super box, and you've got your beer, and you've got your bitoque, whatever it may be, and you just feel like, shit, all right, this is okay. Like I'm not someone who thinks we should save TAP, but I promise you, even when I used to get on the flight, I used to say, okay, I'm home. It was like a weird thing,
Brilliant. Excellent. Tim, thank you so much. Let's braai sometime.
Excellent, for sure. So where guys is, when you get to leave your orbit and bring me some of your chocolates and ggia there, yeah, for sure.
No problem. Thank you so much, Tim. For now, I'm going to let you call it.
Thank you. That's a wrap. Is that it,
That's
it. I'm in show business, so that's a wrap. Yeah, great.
So thank you once again to Tim, and thank you to all of you for listening. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We'd love to hear from you. And as we say in Portugal, força. Welcome to the simple life.